घंटा लेट हो चुके हैं। मैं नमस्कार। We would like to welcome you all on behalf of Independent Research Ethics Society, AYUSH Samriddhi International Webinar Series, and we are celebrating today National Statistics Day, which was on yesterday, but unfortunately I was on flight and I couldn't conduct that yesterday. So I'm really thankful to Dr. Suparna Sanyal Mukherjee Madam from Bolpur, pillars of our Ayush Samriddhi, Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu from Alberta and West Bengal. मैं दोनों का स्वागत करता हूं, बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं और बिना देर किए मंच उनको सौंपता हूं। आदरणीय डॉक्टर सुपर्णा सान्याल मुखर्जी मैडम ऑन बायोस्टैटिस्टिक्स for research. Any research, biostatistics is very necessary in her line also, in Dr. Sekat Basu's line also, because we are definitely observing lives, maybe in anthropology, maybe in plant research, or maybe in human research. So, thank you very much for your kind consent. And after this, we will be discussing on medicine from tropical forest. So please stay with us. I would like to welcome Dr. Suparna Sanyal Mukherjee Madam with folded hands. Namaskar, Swagatam.
Namaste, namaste. Welcome back to our homeland, the
Thank you,
India.
thank you.
So really, after a long time, we are seeing you, though it is online, but still you are our fellow citizens. So we are really proud of you.
Thank you.
And the AYUSH Samriddhi has really, you have enriched AYUSH in the international forum. Thank you very much. And today's topic is very important and very interesting too, because biostatistics is also essential part of the every research. In case of the research, if we can study the research, statistics is very important for it, because if we can go through the any kind of research, like any subject, anthropology, sociology, education, political say humanities, or the biosciences, pure sciences, wherever we go, we need the biostatistics. And biostatistics is the first and foremost portion of the research findings to establish the research findings, the mathematical findings done by this statistics. The statistics, which comes from the Italian word statista and Greek word status, that means the statement. So, biostatistics is a science that deals with the study of data derived from the biological sciences, which is also known as the biometry. Nowadays, it is very important part of us because we are started biometry identification. Why this biometry? This biometry is unique research and unique identification of each and every individual of all over the world, wherever the human beings are there, because it is you cannot destroy it. Any environmental factor cannot destroy your biometric identification. So biometry is research, and it is the Greek biolife. This biolife is the metron measurement, and so it is measurement of life. So biostatistics, you can, in a nutshell, we can say that it is a measurement of life. And biostatistics is developed by the period of Sir Francis Galton. Galton is a very interesting scientist and statistician, and he has developed this biometry. And before the starting of this biostatistics, we need the review research process, the review studies. And review studies is also basically the literature orientation, and then that define the research problem, review the concepts of the research, then review previous research findings, then the formulate the research ethics and hypothesis, which hypothesis is very important part of the research. And this research is also possible by this biostatistic orientation. Then the research design, then sample size, then sample formation, then sample design, data collection, then the analysis of the data, and the interpretation and the report. to make the interpretation of the report. And lastly, we can find it out what we have got it or find it out from the particular research. And here it is very important to know that the stages in statistical interpretation is very important part of the, because collection of data, when you are collecting the data collection, you will start, you have to collect the data from various sources. So there is the secondary sources, then the primary sources. The secondary sources you can collect it from the magazines, journals, books, periodicals, the thesis which has been uploaded in the Shudh Ganga, then in Flipnet, you can find it out so many identification, or whether maybe from the online, offline, wherever you can go to library study is required. And the primary data collection is required from this, the participation observation, where the statistics is also very important, because if you are a anthropological research, you have to follow the anthropological norms. If you are a biosocial research, you have to follow the biosocial norms. If you are a botanist, you have to follow the botanist norm, the geologist norm. So there is a norms over there. But all this research is amalgamated and meet in a point which is known as the statistical findings. Because these statistical findings will giving you the presentation of data. How do you present your data? How do you analyze your data? And how do you interpretation of your data? It is concerned with this biostatistics finding. And this biostatistics findings and application of the research is very important part of the uh, any kind of research which you may develop, and find it out, because research is not the ending point. Because if you can got awarded with your start your that particular aspect research, and this is also a new finding, so you have to say the new things in your research and new orientation of your research. Maybe the those who are the critic, they may ask, everywhere you have to say the new points. Yes, you have to see the new points, because every researchers demand the new thing, because previous who have done it, that is, we have reviewed it, we have given the most respect of those scientists who have done the previously. So if we cannot establish a new thinking, new formation, then the research should not be completed, because your further suggestion, the first delimitation of the study, then the limitation of the study. So all are amalgamated in a point. It is through this biostatistics findings and research. Another more thing is very important: the frequency distribution. You have to develop your frequency distribution, pattern of frequency distribution, then frequency distribution particularly useful for the observation and the participation method you have done it, then probability testing. These all are very important for the interpretation of your data, and where it is very important that the independent variable, dependent variable, and extraneous variable. So these are the variables you have to choose it and you have to prove it. Then only you can find it out. Your research is very important and it is scientific. So that's why you have to make your objectives, importance of research, significance of the research, all are related to this research. And lastly, I can say that the research is on the basis of this biostatistics. There is several types, of which very important are that this the descriptive and analytical research, then applied versus fundamental research, the qualitative versus quantitative research, and conceptual versus empirical research, and the other types of research like this action research, where the biostatistics is a tool for finding out for this all the research problems and find it out and end to go to the uh, parabola and go to the reach to the goal which is needed by this biostatistic finding. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me such an opportunity. And why it is in the five, sorry, I have to just mention, because Ayush is also found it out the biostatistics orientation. If we can look back to our forefathers who were dependent upon the rishis, maharishis, they were also depending upon the Ayush medicines. So Ayush is a factor where we also can apply the biostatistics research. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me such an
Thank you
opportunity.
very much, madam. At present, our all researches are based on bioresearch. You are rightly said. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I would like to request Dr. Sakat Kumar Basuji. Welcome, Dr. Sakat ji. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharma ji. Once again, welcome back home. Madam I really appreciate this topic being highlighted on this platform because I personally feel the subject of statistics, particularly biostatistics, which is necessary and is applied in various multidisciplinary arenas, has not been given the proper, importance and emphasis that it needs to be placed in education and research ad should have been placed. Madam has very beautifully illustrated how this is being applied, where do you need to apply. I will just extend and broaden the base and highlight upon the importance of this. Say, for example, where do we apply biostatistics now? Biostatistics is now applied across various disciplines. If you look into social science, various branches of social sciences, whether it is economics, anthropology, psychology, everywhere biostatistics is applied across every branches of life science, agricultural sciences, and in medical sciences it is compulsory. Yeah, I am saying that in conventional medical sciences, for many results to be considered to be a true impact, has to have a biostatistic component added to it, whether it is environmental sciences or even in Ayush, as Matter has very nicely pointed out, is because we are also dealing with medications, and the medication is applied across various parameters, which is according to statistics are variables, and it is important to understand how these variables are impacting the effect of the medicine, whether the impact that we are showing or the patients are showing, whether it is a true impact, whether it is statistically significant or it is statistically insignificant. How do we understand this? Now, why this subject is so important, particularly in case of biology, medical sciences, agricultural, geological, and other allied sciences like anthropology? Because in nature, one of the most consistent feature that we see is variability. If you look into a class of students, you will see a diversity of skin color, diversity of heights, diversity of weights. If you go into medical parameters, you will see the glucose parameters varies across students, across ages, across classes, across sex, gender. If you look into cholesterol and various other biological biochemical parameters, you will see it varies even within siblings, even within monozygotic and dizygotic teens. There is variability, and these variability is very important for for our various species to evolve on the earth, because it is one of the driving factors towards evolution. For hundreds and thousands of years, as we have evolved, this variability and the mutations within this variability has helped us survive. Not only humans, all plants, unicellular bacteria to multicellular complex animals, everyone has gone through this system. But when we are trying to assess and understand this, we need a method, we need a tool to say the effect that we are seeing. Say, for example, you are giving a medicine to a patient, and maybe after 3 months, 4 months, or 6 weeks treatment, that patient has recovered. Now, whether that patient has directly recovered as a consequence of your diagnosis and therein the application of medication, whether in Ayush or non-Ayush platform, is very, very important. How do we determine this? We determine this by having a control group. By what do we mean by a control group? So, for example, you are providing a patient a particular Ayurvedic formulation, say for some kind of a COPD disorder that you have diagnosed, and at the same time you are giving a placebo. You are giving no medication to another group of patients where they also have COPD, and you have provided them, say, just a liquid water, or you have just provided them a general syrup without the proper medication. Now, based on this, we need to see how your control group, where no medication has been applied, how the patient has progressed over a certain time, and in the experimental group, where you have applied a particular dosage of your medication, to see how they have bettered over time. The comparison with this control provides you a strong indication of the fact that whether The effect that you are seeing, whether the effect of medication, whether the effect of environment, whether the effect of various other external or internal parameters that are regulating our life and existence, is impacting your results. If it is statistically significant and you have done these results for 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, because statistics or biostatistics can only be relevant if you have data for a few successive years, because we need the average of those data. If that average is not available, if multiple years of treatment are not available, whether it is soil morphology, soil testing that you are doing, whether it is fertilizer application you are doing in agriculture, or whether it's an antibiotic or an Ayurvedic formulation or a homeopathic medicine that you are applying, it will never be able to say with confidence that I am seeing this effect because of this medication that has been provided. This is a very important tool in our hands, in which we mathematically, both qualitatively and quantitatively, determine whether the result that we are seeing is a true result or it is just a fluke. In science, this is very important, and now in every other branches of application of science, technology, as well as social sciences, this is being extensively applied. For all kinds of surveys that we do, we have to apply some kind of statistical tool to see that the information that you have collected, the data that you have collected, whether that data is a false data, whether that data is a usable data, or whether that data is predicting a trend, or whether that data is providing you a proper scientific, mathematically acceptable direction. Say, for example, in case of statistics, we say, I am saying that we can get a repetition of this result as a consequence of application for this particular medicine or chemical or an Ayush formulation with 90% confidence, or with 95% confidence, or with 99% confidence. We use these terms in biostatistics invariably. What do we mean when I'm saying, I am saying that this result stands mathematically correct, statistically correct with 90% confidence? Means that out of 100 times I have applied this medication, 90 times I have got the true positive result. When I'm saying I am considering the result with 99% probability, which means that out of 100 times, I am getting the true result 99 times. Or when I'm saying this has 95% probability, that means that I am getting the true result 95 times out of 100 times I have applied this application. So this is very relevant, important for judgment, justification of the various treatments or various parameters that we see in nature. It's a vast, broad subject, and it is extensively important in understanding various phenomena that we see in nature. But to tell you the truth, this subject is very, very much neglected outside the mathematics. There are only a very handful of medical doctors who are well trained in statistics. There are only a handful of biologists, geologists, anthropologists and others who are well trained in the biostatistics. Now there are hundreds of softwares, both very expensive or free softwares available on the net, where you can analyze this data. You even if you are very good with your Microsoft Excel, you can do very high quality biostatistical analysis. I have taken courses and classes like this abroad when I was a student, and they showed that just by these simple innumerable statistical features for assessing biostatistics are available in the package of Excel, but very few people know about them. Only very few experts know about them. What I understand and I appreciate that these biostatistics, there are not many teachers available outside the subject of statistics where the proper lectures are delivered, and students or trainees or aspirants are properly trained in this country. There is a lack of understanding, there is a lack of adequate teachers, there is a lack of adequate importance given to the subject. It is just taken as to cover the syllabus, as it is required in various courses and curriculum. I'm not just talking about Ayush or medical sciences. It is available in everywhere areas, only few places where it is given importance. In some parts, in case of engineering, where it is very important to understand statistical application and the precision of the products that we are generating, because the industry needs it. In agricultural sciences, biostatistics is given an importance, because without which no crop data that we are getting, we can assert this with confidence, and in medical sciences this has become increasingly important. But the quality of training provided in India across various universities, particularly non-math subject, where biostatistics is increasingly becoming important and where its application needs for the students and research scholars to understand and appreciate, is very, very poor quality. There is so much inadequate availability of teachers that students are deprived of the proper training, particularly from non-math background, and this needs to be taken care of. The new education policy talks about application of biostatistics to make it an integral part of our multidisciplinary sciences, but how far this would be implemented at the ground level, I have very serious doubt about that. Nonetheless, this is very important and needs to be established in the course curriculum with significant pressure, so that the students are well trained in this area, so that they can learn and not memorize, learn and have the ability to apply the statistics when they are collecting data, be able to know which softwares to use and how to analyze them. Every subject has different kinds of statistical tests that they employ. It is not necessary that depending on which subject you are, you have to know every 100 tests. For agriculture, we use 10, 15 different tests. For medical sciences, there are, say, 10 or 12 particular tests that is most suitably used under these circumstances. Even for those, people are not very well trained in understanding which test to apply, how to ascertain the significance level, how to even if someone has done the statistical analysis for you, very few people are not trained properly to conclude or make a better understanding of the statistical significance of the research result that they've accumulated. This is sad, and this is a weakness of our education system that needs to be addressed very, very promptly and seriously. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, for providing me this platform. Thank you once again for bringing this subject to this platform. This is so important. It has a multidisciplinary application to this stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sekat. Thank you. You both are best as always. Definitely in next webinar, we would like to listen